But I think that we have recognized that there needs to be a fair amount of discretion on behalf of police officers. They need to be able to respond to difficult situations. And so in prosecutions, juries tend to be reluctant to be too eager to second guess some of the choices that police officers make. But again, it is essential that there be limits. And sometimes those limits are imposed by prosecution, sometimes they're imposed by administrative procedures, and I agree that training and transparency are key in this area.
Okay, and we do have some limits being imposed on us by the clock at this point. Our conversation, far from over, will continue in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Aaron, owner of California.
20 or top 25 is quality wins. UCLA would have a lot more of them than Florida State.
That's the argument that LAUSD had an expert make in court. How low will these guys go? She has an IQ apparently somewhere between 64 and 70. I mean, my producer Brian has made a great career in that range. No offense. No, she's obviously very developmentally challenged. But they decided to argue that if she's so developmentally challenged, she doesn't really understand the nature of the sexual assault against her. Therefore, no pain, no payment. Does that make any sense to you? Because it certainly doesn't to me. First of all, who are we to decide whether or not somebody is going to be emotionally damaged by a sexual assault? Certainly not anyone who works for LAUSD. We keep your hands off my kids, whether they're mentally challenged or not, right? And also, what about the damage done to this family? Even if that child doesn't really understand what happened to her, can you imagine the emotional devastation to an entire family when that happens to your pure, precious little child? The thing about a lot of mentally challenged kids is they can also be the sweetest, nicest, most trusting people on the planet. And if somebody could damage them, and LAUSD would let a therapist argue it doesn't matter because she didn't know what happened to her. Rob, it just gets lower and lower. Who's in charge at that point?
I can't offer any editorial comments, otherwise you'll get mad at me like you got mad at CNN.
All I can tell you, it's like a 95-year-old guy who's back after his own sexually questionable past is now taking over temporarily at LAUSD. Great job, LAUSD. Please drop that.
2015 C300 Formatic with an all-new interior boasting an innovative touchpad control that reads your handwriting. See your Southern California Mercedes-Benz dealer and lease the 2015 C300 Formatic for $419 a month for 36 months with $4,713 due at signing. The Mercedes-Benz Winter Event.
Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Here's Tom Tran.
We're going to crash over on the 60 going westbound just past Turbo Canyon Road, actually just past Hacienda Boulevard. That's where we're going to find the accident. It's being moved off the shoulder. A little bit of a delay as you come away from Azusa Avenue. It's not too bad at this point. Once you get past the start of the accident, clear. Heading over towards 605. 605 itself, slow as you leave Washington Boulevard. It's going to be busy down towards the 5. And the 5, very slow through the construction area down from Beach Boulevard all the way up towards East LA Interchange. We also had an earlier crash on the 710 southbound down near Whittier Boulevard. That's clear, however slow as you approach Cesar Chavez going southbound on the 710. Let's check with Scott Bird, who's taking a look at the 110 again.
Well, Caltrans is setting up shop here, 110 northbound connector to the North 5. That is blocked, as well as a couple of lanes there just coming out of the third tunnel on the northbound 110. So that is the reason for the backup. Unfortunately, through the 10, looks like out of South LA.
And again, Benedict Canyon shut down just south of Mulholland because of a water main break. That in turn is backing up the rest of the canyon roads. Cold water, slower than it typically is. Ventura Boulevard down towards Mulholland at this point. And Monte Carlo, Las Vegas, their rooms are right in the center of the strip close to all the action. Only steps away from the Blue Man Group Theater and Vegas' best new restaurants. Their rooms are just $44 per night. Book now at MonteCarlo.com. Traffic and weather together on the 5s are next report at 10:55. For Southern California traffic leader KNX 1070 and CBSLA.com.
Sunshine, windy, red flag warnings in effect. 70s to mid-80s today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Things begin to cool down. Might get a little moist by Friday or Saturday. 76 in Yorba Linda, 75 for Thousand Oaks. 70 right now at the CBS Broadcast Center on LA's Miracle Mile. KMX 1070 Spotlight to the Ferguson decision. We're taking your calls at 866-569-1070. I'm Tom Hewell.
And I'm Charles Spelman, taking your tweets at #KNXFerguson. And I want to get some brief answers to this question because we're going to have time to take a couple of more calls before the broadcast is over. So, William Yeomans, this question first to you and then over to Earl. What is the rollout to the federal government, if any?
Okay, the federal government has a couple of important roles left. First, it is still conducting a criminal civil rights investigation, and that case to make, but not an impossible case. But the second part of the federal role is that the federal government is conducting a civil investigation of the Ferguson Police Department to figure out whether it has engaged in a pattern of violating individuals' federal rights. And that's an investigation that can result in broad systemic change for the Ferguson Police Department. I think it's a very important component going forward. Again, we don't know the timing on that investigation, but it will probably be resolved by an agreement between Ferguson and the Department of Justice that will be entered as a consent decree in court.
Okay, Earl, same question for you.
Yeah, well, I think there's two things we have to look at. And let me remind you, going back 22 years, Rodney King, I think that name still rings a bell. What we had here with the King case, remember, after the beating, 4 LAPD cops tried in Simi Valley, we know the rest. Within 7 days, then President George Bush Sr. and then Attorney General William Barr basically authorized a prosecution because they had been investigating all along. They convened a grand jury. They brought back a bill of indictment. Now, we have to be clear. The indictment has nothing to do with murder. Under federal law, we're talking about civil rights charges, violating someone's civil rights. The other thing that has to be looked at here, and I think a strong case could be made, my guess is Attorney General Eric Holder will be looking very closely at this. The second part is there a compelling federal interest? What does that mean? It's kind of vague, it's kind of fuzzy, but in the King case, what it meant was you had a city that was burning down in cities. You had a public that was outraged. You had some compelling issues there, and then you had one other thing. It was not seen, the jury trial, fair and impartial. I think all of those elements would be looked at, too, in Ferguson.
You know, there's one thing that, as we're continuing this conversation, it almost seems as if we are holding the police under some sort of an indictment in a general kind of sense. And I think we need to temper this with the realization that not every cop goes to work thinking, I'm going to use my gun today, or I'm going to pull my club out and do something. I know quite a few, and not one of them really ever has communicated that to me. Joseph joins us now on the phone from Long Beach, and he has some thoughts to share with us as well. Joseph?
Yes, good morning. I'm a recently retired police commander from the Long Beach Police Department. I've really been engaged with the conversation, and I have to echo what you're saying is that, one of the things we can talk about is engaging the community in the absence of crisis. Certainly we can talk about having a police force that's reflective of the communities that we serve, but I think that police leaders need to engage the community in the absence of crisis. And what we did during my career, working with the Long Beach Police Department and community members in the police department or in the community of Long Beach who are passionate, is putting together police community dialogues, bringing together a diverse group of community members to sit down with police officers in a safe environment, talk about perceptions that each group has for one another, expectations that each group has for one another, and how do we work collectively as a community to build and maintain a safe, respectful, and inclusive community.
Something that probably hasn't been done in Ferguson quite a bit, at least from everything we've been able to see. Now, I haven't been to Ferguson, so I can't speak from firsthand knowledge, but it does seem as if there is a huge social wall between the police and everybody else.
Yeah, that's a problem, too. I can speak about the experience in L.A., if I could, for a second. One of the things that happened 2 weeks before the Ferguson decision came in, LAPD Chief Beck and LAPD officials called us in. They wanted us to come in, us being the civil rights leaders and organizations, had that dialogue he's talking about, lay down some ground rules, expectations, but the most important thing is speaking to each other across the board to make sure there was a clear understanding what could happen, what to expect, and also damp things down. I think it worked.
You look somebody in the eye and you see the person. You look at somebody's uniform.
Beck was sitting right across from me.
Right there, practically on my lap.
We got a minute, Charles.
Here's a person who's sitting somewhere and treating, if it had been a black officer shooting an unarmed white, non-black teen, would we be having this discussion today? First Earl and then Mr. Yeomans.
Well, I think we would. But at the same time, we have to remember one thing. When you look at the pattern over the last 3 or 4 years, that hasn't been the case. Most of the 95% of the shootings that I have seen have been usually white officers or non-black officers, and usually unarmed African-American or Latino males. See, that's where the problem comes in.
Mr. Yeomans?
Yeah, I would just echo that. I mean, I think that we might be here, but the problem, unfortunately, seems to be that there is a disproportionate number of unarmed black males being shot by police officers. And I think it's important for these purposes to keep the focus there.
Well, we will keep the focus there. We will continue to watch developments out of Ferguson and elsewhere around the country, and our conversation will continue in just a moment.
Have you noticed? Where's the people that they feel are supposed to be protecting them? Not feel are supposed to protect them, they are supposed to be protecting them. And it's horrible to see people feel so helpless and so frustrated that, they just express that type of sadness. It's horrible to watch. And, obviously a lot of people's minds are on this, my own included. And I really do like when you see athletes remind people that they do have a conscience and that they are human, that they do care.
Yeah, as a black person in this country or anywhere, Officer Wilson probably wasn't fair of his life, has a right to defend himself. But as a black person, you get tired of hearing these stories again and again about black unarmed men getting gunned down or getting chokehold into death, like what happened to that black guy up in New York, and the cops held him down, put a chokehold on him, 4 white cops, and he kept saying, I can't breathe, and they just choked him to death. The black person, you get so tired of hearing the same stuff over and over. Officer Wilson, I wasn't in his shoes. I can understand he's fearing for his life. According to the evidence, witnesses, Michael Brown attacked him initially, reaching for his gun. He has a right to protect himself. Brown ends up being shot. Brown ends up running away, from what I understand. He stops as Officer Wilson gives chase. Now, this is the part. I'm not a cop. I'm not as brave as Officer Wilson and a lot of these cops on the streets today who put their lives on the line. But if I was in this situation, I would like to think, as one human being to another, as I'm chasing a suspect who attacked me, he's unarmed. If he stops and turns around and comes at me, and there's some space between us where I have time, a lot of time to react. Let's just say it's 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever it is. If subjects, where these black, white, Hispanic, whatever, Asian, kill. He's got a weapon in his hand, no argument from me. But if I was in that situation, I say, you know what, this guy's an idiot, he's acting like a criminal, he's already committed.
Temporary pop. For tickets, go online at Ticketmaster.com. Planning a road trip.
I enjoy it.
I love you. What's different about his pasta? Why do you like it so much?
I think the tomato sauce is pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's cooked good.
DJ Jackson's Foundation for give away my first Wings in the Saddle. So moving and work Vic the Brick in the crowd that stretches.
Book from best-selling author and national financial commentator Alan Haft has been released that reveals the truth about annuities in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this book. This free book reveals the 5 secrets baby boomers and seniors need to know. Call now to get your copy of this free book rushed to you today. After all, don't you want to avoid the expensive mistakes baby boomers and seniors make when they buy annuities? Any mistakes now will be costly later to you and your family. Call 888-727-4809. That's 888-727-4809. Again, call 888-727-4809. That's 888-727-4809.
You've been thinking about switching to solar.
Hearing about so many unarmed black men getting killed. It hurts to hear. I don't care, and I know maybe Michael Brown wasn't a danger. He did rob a store. He confronted the cop. He initiated the assault. So this wasn't like this guy's a firebrand, but still, like you and other people say, that doesn't mean you got to kill him.
It's hard to keep your mind off it. I know people tune in to us to hear about sports, hear about the more frivolous things in life, but the world exists.
Sometimes the world infiltrates sports.
We do, exactly. The world infiltrates sports, and we will get back to sports. When we come back to ESPN LA.
In and Out Genuine Radio presents Our Commitment.
It's simple. They do one thing and they do it better than anybody else. The ingredients are super fresh.
Lettuce that was picked from the field. Tomatoes were picked from the vine.
It tastes good. The price is right. Easy, inexpensive, good quality food. Doesn't get any better than that.
Genuine people, genuine food, genuine passion. It's what's made In and Out since 1948.
have Protection One at our house.
And they protect our home, too.
Best feature for me, mobile control. I use my phone, see what the kids are doing, turn on or off the lights, or just arm and disarm the system anywhere I am.
Best feature for me, Protection One customer service. They have live operators, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and offer same-day service.
Also, the national footprint, they protect nearly 2 million homes and businesses today.
Oh, no, we actually agree. Protection One is the best defense employer pick.
Get a Protection One home security system starting at just $99. Go to protectionone.com/Mike.
Ryan, what are you doing?
I'm practicing my Heisman pose, getting ready for the Nissan Heisman. Ryan, obviously I know you're getting geared up for the Nissan Heisman. Now, the best place you can get to know some of the greatest college football players and vote for the next Heisman winner. But I want to know, how do you perform the wrong arm?
Attorney Benjamin Crump lashed out at the Ferguson authorities this morning for their handling of Michael Brown's shooting case. He declared that black children deserve equal justice, quote, just as any American. In a special spotlight broadcast this morning, KNX spoke with several prominent activists and legal experts on the issue. Joe Hicks with Community Advocates Incorporated is one of them. He says part of the problem is cops feeling threatened.
Young men that love to project a certain kind of swagger about them that can project a threatening kind of demeanor. And cops need to understand and look beyond that and deal with actions, not certain attributes.
Connie Rice is the co-director of the Advancement Project here in Los Angeles. She agrees with Hicks, but sympathizes with the police.
They're always afraid. They're afraid they're not going to make it home to their families at night. It's a very dangerous job. And what we have to give them is we have to give them the relationships and the tools so that they feel like the community is backing them.
Brown attorney Benjamin Crump is also proposing a law that would require every cop in America to have a body camera.
LA City officials expressing satisfaction with the way protesters and police have interacted so far in the post-Ferguson reaction, though they put out a warning, unsafe actions will not be tolerated.
Chief Charlie begs City was satisfied with the emphasis officers made last night to help facilitate people's First Amendment rights, saying the protests were part of a national discussion on police legitimacy and race relations. But he said if people block freeways, they'll be arrested. Such actions, he said, don't resolve the issues at hand.
We want to have that discussion in a manner that puts forth the ideals that people are trying to express, and not in a manner that detracts from them.
As for tonight, if there are any further protests,
we hope for a calmer day. We hope for a day when people get their point across in a way that is best understood, and we will help them do that.
At LAPD headquarters, Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
KNX News Time 11:05. Traffic and weather together. Here's Tom Tran. Problems along the 405. The first one, northbound on the 405, told you about a crash over near Rosecrans Several lanes blocked. 2 left lanes shut down, as a matter of fact. If you are trying to get up towards LAX, take the 110 north to the 105, go westbound, and then you are clear heading over towards the airport. It stays slow again from Florence Avenue up towards the 110. The other problem, however, is on the southbound side of 405. Down near Nordoff, crash being reported here. Backup traffic from about Devonshire, and then it just stays slow right down towards Victory Boulevard. Let's check in with Scott Bird, who's taking a look at the 60.
60, pretty good shape, at least west of the 57. I'm not seeing any slowing here heading up toward the 605 eastbound. Pretty good shape, too. West 60 is heading into the 57 verge, though, and southbound 57 slowing around Temple down toward the 60.
We're going to have Scott head over towards the 710 near the 60 and report some crash on the northbound side. Earlier crash on the southbound 710 gone. Still busy, though, from the 10 down towards the 60. The northbound 710 slows from Bandini right up towards the 60. Traffic and weather together on the 5s. Our next report at 11:15. From your Southern California traffic leader, KNX 1070 and CBSLA.com.
I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Evelyn Tassin. This is your exclusive 5-day forecast. Temperatures staying very warm at least through your Wednesday, even your Thanksgiving. By Friday, still on the warmer side, but starting to get a little cooler by the time we hit the weekend, and cloudier by your Sunday. Maybe a chance of rain next week. Until then, we're keeping 80s in the forecast for the basin, the beaches, our inland valleys. The high desert topping out in the 60s, and maybe a few low 70s, in the mountains in the 50s. That's your 5-day forecast, where the weekend's always in sight here at KNX 1070 News Radio.
Culver City, 77 degrees. Huntington Beach, 76. Pasadena, 72. And in downtown Los Angeles, 76 degrees. KNX News Time, 11:07.
A former LAPD officer and an expert in police training says the police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, mishandled the situation from the start.
Timothy Williams spent nearly 30 years at LAPD and is now a recognized expert in investigations and police training. He says when Officer Wilson confronted Michael Brown while sitting in his car, he lost control of the situation because he didn't use proper technique. Williams would have handled it differently.
You use your training based on the situation, based upon the information that you have. You conduct yourself accordingly. Sitting in a car trying to deal with that is wrong. Trying to deal with 2 suspects by yourself is wrong. You bring resources to the problem.
This could play a key role in the civil suit, with attorneys looking into whether proper procedures were followed and what led to Brown's death. Bob Brill, KNX 1070 News Radio. A day before the big Thanksgiving holiday travel crush and a water main break forces the closure of Benedict Canyon Drive. That could mean things that will be tough for drivers.
The 12-inch pipe cracked open about 7:20 in the morning, sending water gushing and actually raising up some of the asphalt, roughly 4 to 6 inches or so. DWP's Gene Prendergast says with the water shut off, work crews will be busy patching up the pipe after they rip up the road.
They'll take out just as much as they need to do the leak.
But LA City Fire Captain Doug Reyes says this is going to take a while, probably a few days at least, and commuters are not going to be happy crowding onto other streets.
This is the main thoroughfare for Valley people to get to the other side to get to work every single day.
Along Benedict Canyon Drive, John Beard, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The LA City Council expected to vote today on 2 gun control proposals. One of them would force gun stores to use the internet to report their ammunition sales to the city. We spoke live with Councilman Paul Krikorian, who said that would mark a big change in the way those sales are recorded.
Right now, gun dealers are required to maintain records of ammunition purchases for 2 years. But LAPD actually has to go physically out to inspect those records, and that's incredibly time-consuming, incredibly expensive.
The other proposal would require LA gun owners to store unused firearms in locked containers or use trigger locks to disable them.
And we'll have a check of spending habits coming up next in Money News, KNX News Time, 11:09. The Mercedes-Benz winter event is here. Come in and experience exceptional vehicles at extraordinary prices, like the CLAs.
From what I saw, I thought he was okay. He wasn't
DeMarcus Ware.
Who's the guy with all the hair in Green Bay?
Clay Matthews.
He wasn't Clay Matthews, a linebacker. Or he isn't, who's a good lineman? J.J. Watt.
Sure.
Up front.